All right, we're live.
Hey,
Yo.
how's it going?
Oh, it's going. It's going. It's been a little bit of a busy week as it usually is, but you know.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um, John's got COVID, so he's not joining us.
Yeah, he's not feeling good.
Oh, well wishes to him. I think
Yeah.
is this the first time he got it? I think so.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
still haven't got it. Knock on wood.
I feel a little bit bad to say that. Like, I don't generally talk to people about their illnesses, but this is the first time I've heard. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, usually when he like calls in sick, he usually kind of says what's going on. I think he got COVID from Reese was the thing, right? So.
Yeah.
Last week he was under the weather, but he wasn't testing positive yet.
Right. And
everyone in the chat is confirming.
And it wasn't bad yet last week either. Like, not terrible or anything, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see him again next week and he recovers soon. But what's up with you? How was your Halloween?
It was okay. We didn't do anything too noteworthy. I mean, I played a video game that we'll talk about later, that we both played. Okay. And, but otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to look for more, like, Halloween horror-y things to watch that are kind of new. And a lot of the stuff that came out this year has been kind of bad and not out for horror stuff, or I've seen it already. So I just kind of just chilled that night, really.
Yeah, I went out to a few Halloween events so I could show off the hot dog suit.
Sure, makes sense.
It was a hit. Like, I got so many compliments on the hot dog suits. That was pretty great. I was trying to think what costumes I saw a lot of from. You know, I was at bars. I went to the neighborhood that always goes crazy with decorations. So I saw like a whole range of ages.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fairies this year.
Oh, why? Okay. I was wondering if there was a specific fairy that they all dress as or something.
No, just like girls that have fairy wings. That's their costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that a few years. Sure. Pretty general costume.
Yeah, I didn't like ask anyone, are you a specific fairy or anything? And I couldn't think of anything in the media where it's been like, oh, there's a big resurgence in fairies, blah, blah, blah. So,
right.
But yeah, just a lot of fairies. I did see a couple people dressed up as characters from Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was cool.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
I saw Kim Possible. I saw Wanda and Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents. A lot of Pikachus.
Any video game related stuff, like specifically?
Well, I mean, like Pikachus.
Pikachu.
There was at one of the bars I went to. There was two groups that did like group costumes, and one of them was X-Men.
Okay,
that was pretty cool.
Neat.
The other one was Mario characters.
Sure.
Those were pretty good, and there was some kind of interesting choices like Piranha Plant.
Okay.
And Boo. So that was pretty cool. Saw Ken a few times.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I honestly assumed I would see more Ken than I did, but I only saw it maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. With Barbies, I'm assuming. Or not really.
I don't think so. I did not see a lot of Barbie.
Interesting. I thought that would be kind of the hot thing this year. I would have assumed.
I would have assumed so as well. Maybe because she doesn't really have like an outfit as much as it's just like, are you wearing pink? I guess you can be Barbie.
I guess everybody dressed up as Barbie to go see the movie, so they didn't have to for Halloween.
Yeah. Also, like, Ken steals every scene he's in that movie. Like, Ryan Gosling is hilarious. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's my favorite part of that movie for sure. Ken fight scene, so good. And so good. When he shouts Sublime, hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty good too, because I saw like somebody posted like the outtakes or bloopers or whatever for that, and there was just a bunch of him just like ad-libbing, but Sublime is what they went with in the end.
Yeah, which I understand he just came up with as well. Like, it wasn't totally written. He just was just vibing with some stuff, and that's the one they liked the most.
Apparently, that scene was just like he just has to like come up with something or whatever. So there's a few different takes of like how that scene could have played out. Sublime's very good though. I see why they went with
Sublime, it. Yeah, that is a very fun one for sure. Yeah. So that was my Halloween. And then other cool news for me is this: during the day today, I booked my next trip, my next like big trip, because I don't really count going home for Christmas.
No, yeah.
Trip, even though it is an international trip for me, it doesn't count.
Sure.
I'm going. I got 2 one-way tickets. I'm going to Madrid, Spain, and I'm flying home from Rome, Italy. Entire entire trip, $450.
That is very cheap.
Yep.
That is.
Yep. I thought the Ireland was cheap. This just blew that out of the water.
Yeah, no kidding. That sounds fun. So you're just gonna
I'm excited.
Like,
that's
take
gonna
a
be
trip
at the
down.
like halfway through January, so it's not gonna be like the craziest hot weather, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. Cool.
That's probably why the tickets are also this cheap. And sure. I'm going to try because I need to cross the water to get over to Italy.
Pop the pond.
I want a pit stop in Africa so I can say I've been to that continent. It's right there.
Sure.
Go to like Morocco or something.
Yeah, have lunch or something and then go back. Yeah.
I'd probably spend like a night or two doing stuff over there, but so I'm going to try and do that as well. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. So anyone listening has, recommendations for Madrid or Rome specifically, send them my way, please.
Nice. Cool.
Well, let's do the podcast. We got a bunch of games to talk about. Top Down Perspective for November 2nd. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And let's start with the big one. Let's talk about Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Because now we have both played it.
So when I was playing it, the whole time I'm thinking, I wonder how Sean is faring, because this is fucked up. Some of the stuff that they put you through is kind of fucked up.
You're definitely a lot farther than I am. Let me kind of say where I am so you know, and so that you don't spoil anything.
Okay.
I'm 5 hours into the game, a little over 5 hours, so I'm basically at the second saga part. I just finished Coffee World.
Okay, I'm not that much further ahead. I'm maybe like 2 hours ahead, if that.
But I'm assuming you've played, because after the Alan Wake stuff, and where it's like, hey, you can go back and forth now. I haven't gone to Alan Wake, which I understand has like segment of the year.
Okay, if people are saying that, yes, I did that last night, and it is probably one of the segments of the year.
I don't know anything about it other than everyone is losing their mind over this 15-minute chunk.
I think it was a little longer than 50 minutes, but yes, it's very good. That whole section is very, very good. I loved it. Cool. It was, fantastic. Okay, so I'm not that much further ahead of you, so we can, besides that, like, we can talk pretty openly. Did you finish the Coffee World part, I should say, actually? Like, are you done?
Yeah, I finished it, and I'm on my way to, like, a lighthouse or something, but there was a save point there, and that's where I stopped.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, like, the world has kind of opened back up a little bit. Oh, wait. Did you do anything with a float? Like a parade float? Okay. Maybe I am about 4 hours ahead of you then. Okay. That game, like, I'll say again, some of the situations they put you through as a player are fucking creepy, and I don't know if I like it.
So sorry to answer your kind of initial question. It is scary.
Yeah.
Which I think is slowing me down, because every time I'll get to a save point, it's like, okay, how much more have I played? Oh, it's been 15 minutes? Fuck.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Like I'm wishing I'm going through it faster, but like I mentioned before, I have it on story difficulty, so combat is pretty much a joke. Like, I don't need to do anything other than the pistol. That, because everything dies pretty quick.
That could be kind of nice, because I mean, you've probably run into them, the fast moving guys, the ones that like zip around.
I feel like that's most of them. They all zip around.
But like literally there are ones that are like the Flash, and they'll like zip right past you if you're aiming at them, and then throw shit at you behind you and stuff. Like, they're just annoying. Yeah,
maybe, I guess, sure.
maybe it's not that big of a deal because you kill them before they can zip around really quickly.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, like as soon as I see someone, I shine the flashlight on them. If they take more than 2 shots, it's because I'm aiming poorly.
Okay. Yeah, because you're right. A lot of them will like kind of stumble towards you or run towards you, and then they'll like kind of be right up in your face. They'll like almost teleport the last little bit. There are literally ones that are like the flash zip around the stage and like are just the most annoying thing. So
yeah, I think I got some of that. I think when you start Saga's second part and you're entering the woods,
you meet one or two of them
zipping around.
Yeah. They're the worst thing in this game by far. I fucking hate them, and them alone makes me kind of just be like, I just want to shoot you once and be done with you because you're just annoying. Like that's not even scary.
Play story difficulty, man.
Yeah. I might also open up a web page where like all the stuff is, but I will say at some point you do find like intel and that'll mark on your map where like cult stashes are, and that's helped a lot for me.
Oh yeah.
Because I spent way too much time in the first couple areas just looking around everywhere, just like mashing my face against every wall, seeing if I could find something, and it's kind of annoying. So I'm glad that they kind of mark it for you later on.
Yeah, if they didn't do that, I would not be searching as much because I don't like being in these environments.
Oh, sure.
Especially Alan's sections where I'm like, is this guy going to attack me? Okay, no, he seems like he's just going to like hang out there, but I really don't want to turn my back on him because some of these guys just decide to attack me later. Like, that's annoying.
Yeah, we should talk about that part because I found that part pretty interesting. There's just like, so Alan, for people I guess who don't know or aren't initiated, Alan Wake is in a place called the Dark Place, and it's basically just like a shadow world version of like his memories in the real world or whatever. So like the first place you play with him is kind of just in a city in New York, and you're through like a bunch of tunnels and shit, like the subway tunnels in the streets. The thing that's creepy though is that there's like memories of people just lingering around, shadows of people lingering around. And for the most part, all of those shadows will acknowledge you when you're close enough. They'll look at you and some will even start walking towards you. But a lot of them are like completely benign. They'll do nothing. They're just there to like freak you out. But every now and then, one of those shadows is an enemy that'll just start like wailing on you. And it's the worst. It made me so paranoid.
It is, yeah, because like I'm looking at someone, I'm like, okay, like are we cool? Like what's, and I'll be like looking at them, I'm like, okay, no, you're doing like an aggressive walk towards me.
And then it's nothing.
Like it is definitely hard. And I mean, I'm sure they're doing that on purpose to keep you on edge the whole time.
Totally.
And that's annoying. So like, I'm not finding it as scary as I would have thought, or you're probably thinking. Okay. I'm keeping the volume kind of low, which definitely helps with the like jump scare, just like random scream stuff, which is annoying. And
that's bad.
A friend of mine was telling me I'm about to hit like a pretty rough patch of that with Saga. So we'll see how that goes.
It's not that bad, I would say. I wouldn't say it's that bad. What you're coming, everybody does like the first initial jump scare part in the like diner in the woods or whatever, the store, the gift shop. Like it's roughly the same kind of atmosphere, so it's fine.
Luckily, I had seen that part. They had shown that part off at Summer Game Fest, so I knew what was about to happen in that. Like it wasn't a gift shop. It was
yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Kind of a gift shop.
Like a convenience store or something.
You know, where you like get the convenience store. It's where you get the shotgun.
Yes, that's right.
But yeah. So I knew that was coming, luckily.
Yeah.
And luckily that guy died in like 3 hits. So,
sure.
So that's good with that. Yeah, because I don't really care too much about the combat. I am here because I just love like the vibes. It is such a Remedy game. They are like firing on all cylinders. There's so much like woven in with like other Remedy properties, and I'm devouring that. I love that.
All the FBC, like anytime you come up to like a station where the FBC obviously was like doing tests or whatever, or the nursery rhymes or any of that stuff, it's very, like they definitely built a universe that connects their stuff, and it's so cool to be just in it again, basically.
Yeah, and they're going so hard in it. Like if you're a fan of the Remedy connected universe, you're gonna love this because seems like it's like they made this game for those people.
Yeah.
And then they made it scary, which turns me off a bit. But other than that, it's like, yeah, this is exactly what I would have wanted from more Remedy stuff, and I'm glad that they were able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad people are receiving it so well. The review scores are super high for it. It also looks gorgeous.
It does. It looks very good. Yeah. To the point where I'm annoyed there's no photo. I like photo modes. There's no photo mode in this, and I think I would have benefited from one, because I think it looks very cool in some spots.
Yeah, it looks really great, especially everything with like Saga. She looks so good. The loads in and out of the mine place and the writer's room are so fast.
They're good. Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah, I just think it is such a great looking game. I think Digital Foundry was saying it is like one of the best looking games. I was looking at their kind of comparison between the console versions.
Yeah.
And that's not even touching the like PC version, which is blowing the consoles out of the water.
Yeah, that PC version scared me off a little bit though, because what they like recommend people have is really fucking beefy. And I also watched maybe the same video or a similar one, because they did a couple on the game.
Yeah.
What I realized was, the reason why this is the minimum is because low settings look incredible still. Like, this isn't one of the games where it's going to look like shit on low. It looks very good, even on low.
So what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on PS5 because I was worried that I would have hitching issues and it would ruin the atmosphere for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, no, the console versions look great. The FMV is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
What do you think of the whole first kind of Alan Wake section? Is basically just Max Payne.
It's so Max Payne. It's crazy. Yeah, no, it's really, really good. I think the thing that really stood out to me is it really kind of feels like you're playing two different games when you switch between them. And I think a lot of that is just due to kind of what you're like. You can tell Saga's stuff is definitely more grounded and like in the real world, or a real world type of thing or whatever. And like her mind place and everything all kind of like mirrors that as well, where it's silly, but like you're getting gun upgrades, even though they're from a magazine. Like they're still kind of silly video gamey things, but you're getting gun upgrades. You're literally just have the giant case board where you're kind of putting stuff together because you're a detective, you're an FBI agent. And then on the opposite side, Alan Wake's is very ethereal, dreamlike, creepy, or whatever. So his mind place is literally just like you're taking different ways that this scene that you have collected can go, like in the story, and you're kind of rewriting that same thing. And like, I don't know, the way that they've kind of built it out, where smartly they could have the same, like, let's just say a section of like a subway tunnel, and that section could actually be 3 or 4 different levels just by putting that different like variant on it to make you go through it again. Like everything about it is just super smart
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's cool. And yeah, the loads are super fast.
Yeah.
Like, I was hearing a lot of people kind of mention like this kind of really feels like a modern day video console game with kind of how fast they're able to do stuff. We mentioned going into the mine place, going into the writer's room, back and forth. And yeah, I think it does. And the visuals, I think it really does feel like kind of one of the most like advanced games we've seen in a bit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice, because I feel like we often don't talk about Remedy games in that way.
Yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of people kind of don't, they're not the most popular games, and they're never going to be Call of Duty or Assassin's Creeds or whatever, but
they might get there.
They do some really cool stuff for sure. Yeah, and I mean they're working on that Control multiplayer game, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
But yeah, I am loving this game. It is so good. It's exactly what I wanted. Caveat, I wish it wasn't as scary.
Yeah, it's been interesting seeing Remedy really go hard into the horror. Like, arguably, I guess the Alan Wake games could have been survival horror-esque, but they definitely didn't go deep into that. It was kind of like a surface level, this is creepy sort of thing, not like kind of horrific what's going on. I like it.
Well, this is what Alan Wake, the first one, was supposed to be.
Yeah, like this level.
I was reading an article kind of pointing out what the like original pitch stuff, and what was shown off with Alan Wake was it was supposed to be like a horror game like this, but if you remember, Alan Wake took 10 years to come out.
That's right. Yeah.
And just during that time, it kind of just got like watered down, or for one reason or another, flattened out into more of an action shooter game.
Sure.
So I'm assuming development was just messy, or maybe from a marketing standpoint, it didn't make sense to do it that way. So it really seems like it seems like Control really opened the door for Remedy,
right?
And it allowed them to kind of like really like, we want to make the game we've like always wanted. And you can just see there's so much heart in there. Sam Lake's character is in there all the time, doing the Max Payne face, like right to the camera. The goofy FMV commercials, like it just feels like such a special, very specific game.
I love the Koskela Brothers commercials. They're so stupid and great. I love them so much.
Yeah, no, they're very weird. Or when Saga and Casey will like drink coffee at the same time, like it's right out of Twin Peaks.
Yep. Yeah, I thought the same thing. They're just both looking at the board. They both like take a sip at the same time. Oh, it just makes my heart happy. It's just very good. Yeah. I don't like the jump scare stuff. So the way I'm playing it is at my computer, because my PlayStation's hooked up to my monitor or whatever. And I have my earbuds in, so it is very loud to me. And every now and then, Mr. Scratch will just be like, ah! Or whatever, like out of nowhere, and it's infuriating.
I've actually refused to play it with headphones because I know it'll just be like too creepy.
Yeah, sure.
There's a few times, during the week where it's like, okay, during these hours, it makes more sense if I'm playing with headphones, just based on kind of like who's home, who's doing stuff right now, versus with the speakers. And it's just like, if it's a headphone one, I'm not even going to play Alan Wake. I don't need to like isolate myself into this. Sure. It has subtitles, so like it's not like I can't hear what's going on, but it just kind of like makes everything manageable for me if I can't hear like every little whisper, because there's a bunch of creepy stuff in the woods.
Yep.
Doing shit to me, and it's like this is stressful enough as it is.
There's a lot of just like ambient terrifying noises that just happen like as part of the soundtrack when you're in certain spots too.
Yeah. And leading up to the launch of it, I kept wanting there to be more accessibility things. I'm surprised how little accessibility stuff there actually is in there. I think the one thing you can do is like toggle move forward to just a button press or something, or just like press forward once and then it'll go forward. I do really wish there was more accessibility. Like the friend that was kind of warning me about this jump scare heavy section was like, I was at the point where I just kind of wanted to turn those off.
Jump scares? Yeah.
I can almost see it, because that's those specific like ones that are just like someone screaming at you with like static noise. They're not doing much other than just trying to catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Like, we already know wherever I am at the moment, it's fucked up. We know this woods, it's fucked up. It's full of crazy people, full of shadows.
Yeah.
I'm Alan Wake. Literally everything is messed up here. I already know that. What is this jump scare doing?
Yeah. So I noticed that a thing that they do with it is that it's a temporary, like it's a 1 second or like couple frame transition, so that like the jump scare will happen because it takes up your whole screen, and then when it goes back, something had changed in the environment or whatever. They have used it in a few ways. I don't know if you've gotten to certain parts that so I'm kind of talking around it, but there are parts where a screamer thing happened, and then like the world was slightly changed, or like now there's a light on that wasn't on before. Just little stuff like that maybe they meant to hide like a thing popping up to make it look cleaner in some way.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't need to scream at me.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I don't think I've noticed that. But that almost says to me like, can I at least turn the sound part of that down?
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I'm still fine with you hiding the pop in or whatever, but like the only thing the scream is doing is just making me unsettled, and I'm unsettled enough.
Yeah. The atmosphere the whole time is incredibly tense. It really is. Yeah. I really, really love it. But also, like, the other night, I was like, I'm just going to play Counter-Strike for a bit. Like, I can't before I get into Alan Wake. Like, I had a long day at work. I just want to relax a little bit before I'm back on the clock heart-wise.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure. So I'm just kind of muscling my way through it just because for my love of the universe, which is why I'm glad that the combat is kind of non-existent for me because I can just kind of get through the game faster.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about things stalking me or the possibility of even losing and having to repeat stuff. Because that would just keep me in there longer, which I don't really want to do.
Oh, okay. I do have a few things that were kind of shitty that I've experienced. So what are you playing it on? Just first. Xbox, right?
Series X.
Yeah. So maybe you don't have this. When I get to the end of a chapter, like, you know how it goes to kind of like a just chill music or something with like some ambient mesmerizing thing on the screen. Yeah. So one problem I have is that it doesn't checkpoint there all the time. If I turn my console off or if I suspend it, which I'll have another issue in a moment, and I go back into it or whatever, or something happens where I have to reload, it'll reload the save that happened maybe like, I don't know, 5 minutes before the like cutoff point there, when I just think you should be reloading me just into the next chapter or the next part at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was weird to me. Also,
one solution I've heard for that one specifically is you can, if you pause it and hit load game, it'll tell you when it last saved.
Yeah.
So you can kind of you can check stuff before you like stop playing or whatever.
So, and like the weird thing kind of is that if you like exit out of that intermission screen of sorts and go into the next part, that's usually where the save happens, where it's like, you should have just put this in like the previous screen, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So maybe like for people playing at home or whatever, if you get to the end of the chapter, just push X or whatever to like load into the next chapter, and then it's kind of safe to turn off, because that's kind of where it seems to autosave, is the beginning of a chapter, not the end of one.
Well, that makes sense to me, because like if you stopped your console there and then reloaded it, it would almost just be kind of awkward if it loaded into that song as opposed to loading the beginning of the next chapter.
Yeah, no, what I mean is that when that song's happening, I wish it was just doing the autosave for like the next chapter, the beginning of the next chapter or whatever, not like at that song, not at the cut. Like, I wish it just did the autosave there instead of forcing you to kind of accept that that chapter's over. It's weird. The reason why it was really weird to me is because this happened yesterday, where I was like, okay, gonna play some Alan Wake, let's go. Oh, I have to do the end of this boss fight again. That's weird.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, so it is what it is. The other thing is that on PS5 specifically, I noticed that when I come back to the game and like take it out of like its suspended state, it runs like fucking garbage. It is terrible. It works itself out eventually a little bit, but I've had it completely break the game, and I had to reload into it so that it would play normally. So maybe if you're playing on PS5, just note that like if you put in like suspended mode or whatever and then go back to it and it's running shitty, you're going to have to just load the game back up. And usually it's pretty close to where you probably suspended it anyway.
I haven't had that on the Xbox, and I'm kind of surprised to hear that, because like Digital Foundry didn't mention that either, and you'd think they would have.
Yeah, it was
their video comparing them.
It's happened a few times, and it's weird. Like, I don't know. I also had a lot of problems with Spider-Man on the PS5, so I'm just wondering if my PS5's haunted. That's all I'm thinking.
Maybe your PS sucks or something, because I didn't have that with Spider-Man either.
Yeah, weird. Another thing is that I read, I think maybe it was a tweet or somebody had written like one of those, not FAQs, but like where somebody asks a question and then the like writer is responding to it. And one of the questions was, do I need to play Alan Wake before playing Alan Wake 2? And they're like, no, you can just jump in. I'm going to just tell you all right now, you would be better off just like watching a catch-up video or something, because you are not going to know what the fuck is going on if you don't have any prior knowledge to this universe, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. To be fair, PR people are always going to say no. You can just jump in because they want you to play the new game that they've just spent like
No, this
3
is
years working on.
This is like IGN or something. Like this was a gaming site thing, so I was like, that seems weird. But they probably also
I did hear that IGN and Remedy kind of teamed up to do a 12-minute recap video that goes through kind of everything you should know, and Remedy was a part of it, so they'll really touch on the things that you'll want to hear about.
Right. Okay.
To kind of get you ready. So I didn't watch it myself, but I was hearing someone else talk about that, so maybe look that one up. And I think that's good that you should. I almost want to do that because the whole concept of Alan Wake 2 is just kind of messing with what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So it's even. I barely played Remastered. I played maybe the first hour or two of it. So I'm mostly going on knowledge that's like a decade old.
Yeah.
Outside of like Control.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to even parse like, okay, wait, is this how it was before, or is this like a twist and I'm supposed to be like, oh man, this person's acting different, or is that new to this game because the whole thing's about things being different? Like it's hard to tell what's like I'm supposed to realize that's different versus what's new and different. And like it's not like Saga's just sitting there being like, that was a weird thing for someone to say. They just kind of roll with it and whatnot. So
are you talking about Rose right now? What Rose says?
I'm talking just like a few things. But yeah, the Rose one, like I had forgotten that Rose was even a character.
Sure.
So when they were doing something odd, I had to be kind of reminded that she was taken in the first game. Like she got possessed by the Taken, blah blah blah. So when she just said something weird, it was like, okay, well, lots of people are saying weird. Oh no, wait, I'm supposed to remember that she was like possessed last 13 years ago. So that's probably what's going on here. And or is it just a weird town because it was a weird town last time too? Like, so it's probably worth doing a catch-up video, even if you did play those games.
It certainly is. Like, just right from the get-go too, the like big thing that happens is Nightingale comes back, like out of the water.
I had completely forgotten who that was, other than, that name is familiar.
Nightingale is one of the main antagonists for the game, the original game, that isn't like a supernatural being. So, like, it's really important names, at least, to kind of know like who they were, because they touch on that stuff. Anyways, I just thought it was weirdly short-sighted for people to be like, no, you could totally just jump in. It's like, yeah, you could, but I don't think you're going to get much out of like what's going on story-wise unless you kind of have an idea of what's going on already.
I think you'll still have fun. But you're just gonna be missing out on stuff. Like it's the equivalent of like any Marvel movie now. I think you're still gonna have fun if you jump in one, but it's gonna be monumentally better if you do have that backstory. And again, like for us who are invested in like the whole Remedy verse, like when Ati showed up, that's great.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, and then they said, I was like, right, Ati, how was your vacation?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's cool. That beginning with Nightingale, that was fucked up. That intro was fucked up.
Yes, it is. It's really fucked up. It really set the tone for that thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to bring up is the first people you profile are the Bookers, and I smiled a whole lot.
Oh, I think that sounds familiar. I think that I noticed that and I had completely forgotten.
Yeah.
But yes, very good.
You're in the game. There, you made it.
Yep, there you go. That's great.
What else have you been playing? You only have one other thing on here.
Yeah, I've started Jusant. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. It's a French word, so they might not pronounce the T. This is by Don't Nod.
This thing.
The original Life is Strange developers.
Yeah.
This is not a visual novel or a walking simulator. It's kind of a walking simulator. It's a climbing game. It's on Game Pass. It just came out. There's no spoken dialogue for the most part. There's a bunch of like written messages you kind of come across, but what the core concept, it seems, is you exist in this world where all the water has just kind of gone away. It's slowly receded down. So when you're walking across at the beginning of this kind of valley, it's the idea is this is like the bottom of the ocean, and you are climbing. The whole game is climbing upwards and stuff. You are climbing up kind of through like histories of the civilization there. So you're finding notes of people who like lived in these like shacks on the edge of the cliff or in these caves, and there was clearly a society there. And it's not exactly told like how long it's been since these people, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But people are talking about, hey, I'm getting on the ship and I'm going to the new colony, stuff like that. So there was water at some point, and that leads to a lot of cool visuals like coral everywhere, or those things that get like stuck on boats that they always have to clean off. That stuff everywhere, stuff that you'd see at like the bottom of an ocean is just kind of all over the place, and you're climbing up on it. And mechanically, if you've played Grow Home, or what I'm assuming the Climb in VR, that VR game is like, it is. You hold right trigger to grab something with your right hand. You hold left trigger to grab something with your left hand. And you basically just kind of hold up on the analog stick and let go of one at a time and move up and down like that. And the character will move up and down like that. And then you have 4 like picks or whatever the rock climbing thing is, where you can basically kind of put a save point. Like if you fall, you'll kind of just swing back to wherever your last pick is. So you can kind of put a save space. I haven't really gotten to the point where I was like, oh man, I'm out of picks. I really need to put a pick. But every now and then they will want you to be like, hey, you're going to have to jump across this gap and grab on. And I usually put a pick just before that, because if I miss my grab, I'm going to fall back quite a ways, and I don't want to have to do that again.
Smart. Yeah.
It looks really nice. I think it's an Unreal Engine 5 game. I didn't look into that closely. Yeah, I saw it in like Digital Foundry did like a roundup of Unreal Engine 5 games, but I just saw it in the thumbnail. I do want to watch that video. You get a cute little creature that hangs out in your backpack, and you have a hug button, a dedicated hug button. So that's pretty great. And yeah, so for the most part, it is a pretty chill game. You're just climbing through the environment and learning what happened to this civilization. Really great podcast game, because there's not a ton of music. It's all pretty like chill, soft beats and relaxing lo-fi as you're climbing about.
That sounds great.
I understand it's pretty short as well. I think How Long to Beat has it around 5 hours. 4 if you're just like kind of, I don't really want to say mainlining, because there's not really side quests or anything. And I even actually think that's one of the small little knocks against it, is there are collectibles. There is a button where you can kind of like highlight, like kind of almost x-ray through the rocks to see like, okay, there's a collectible in that direction. But it almost de-incentivizes you from climbing away from what you think the main path is, because it's just really slow to traverse these areas, because you are one hand at a time climbing across areas. So it could be like, man, I could go over there and see if there's something, but it's going to take me probably 10 minutes to get there and back. I could just continue on forward. And that's where I've kind of have done, unless there is something like specifically telling me like, oh, there is a collectible. But it's weird that the game considers collectibles, because there's a few different collectibles, and some will highlight and other ones won't. But I know but if I look at like the achievements, it's like, did you find all of these things? So it's like the game kind of ranks their collectibles differently. So you do have to kind of decide, like, do I want to search over there or do I want to not? And for the most part, I've chosen not to, just because of how slow the character does move around the environments. But it's cool. It's chill. If you have Game Pass, check it out. Again, that's Jusant. It's spelt Jusant. I'm not exactly sure if that's how you pronounce it.
Sure. Yeah. With a J.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
That's it for me. What about you?
I wrapped up Spider-Man 2. 100% of that. Okay.
Nice.
Think I still like Spider-Man 1 the most out of those two. I don't know how I feel about Miles, because I almost feel Miles is almost like a side story. Like, it's way shorter than 1. I like a lot of setup things that happen in 2, and I think I really like the side story stuff in 2. I think the main story stuff could have been better, is probably where I landed on that. But it still had like pretty great set pieces and stuff like that. Some of the stuff they, like, obviously no spoilers, but some of the characters that they introduce through the side stuff, like, I'm pretty hype. Pretty hype about what could come. Cool. But yeah, that's more Spider-Man. Like, if you like the other ones, you probably should pick this one up at some point, because it's that, and it's good. It's very, very good. I played a indie horror visual novel called Slay the Princess.
Just got code for this. I saw this game at PAX East this year.
Okay.
It was pretty popular, so I had been kind of waiting for it to come out.
Sure. This came out just in time for Halloween, so I kind of played it. It was one of those things, looking for horror stuff in that area that I wanted to try out. Slay the Princess is a visual novel where a narrator is guiding you through the woods to a cabin to kill a princess that's chained up in the basement. It has kind of the Stanley Parable narrator type thing where it's breaking the fourth wall and talking to you as the player, and you can ask it silly questions and it'll just be like, what are you talking about? Just grab the knife and kill her. Like, just stuff like that or whatever. I
really always loved the kind of thumbnail, like promo art for this, where it shows her face and she looks like she's been crying. Yeah. And then above it says "Slay the Princess," and her response is just "Please don't."
Please don't. Yeah. So I can't get into why this is amazing because you need to you, Sean, and like the people listening need to figure that out for yourself if you decide to. But
understood.
It's more than you are just slaying the princess. And it is the type of thing that opens up a giant multiverse, like universe ending thing, depending on what choices you can make or whatever in different ways. It is insane the amount of lines there are written for this game and voice acted fully, to the point where there are just overlapping voices talking in your head repeatedly at some points because there's so many things that are going on. It's crazy. This thing is insane.
Here's kind of like a weird fun fact about this that I noticed. The main, I don't know if she's like the creative director or if she's just the main artist on it or if she's both. It's Abby Howard, I think is her name.
Yeah, I think it's a husband-wife duo, right? They made this thing.
The girl here, yeah, she was one of the contestants on Penny Arcade's, like, we're gonna like sponsor a year of a web comic artist.
Oh, okay, interesting. I didn't know that. That's neat. That's cool.
I watched. I don't know if they did more than one season of that. I forget what it was called. That little goofy reality TV series they did, but she was on that. And yes, and she was at PAX East as well.
Yeah, the art in it is pretty crazy. Like, it's a very, like, almost sketchbook, like, artist sketchbook, sketchy sort of thing. But sometimes, like, it gets real. Oh, I will also say, like, if this sounds interesting to you, be warned, this is a horror game. There are horrific, trigger warning inducing shit that could happen depending on which ways you go. And if you, like, want to see multiple endings or, like, that sort of thing, you will see some fucked up and hear some fucked up stuff. I'm just going to give you that warning. No jump scares, nothing like that, but there is like trigger warning stuff all over this thing. Just as a warning.
So have you seen multiple endings?
Oh, fuck yeah. I thought this thing was incredible. It's so good.
Yeah, the PR person I was emailing with was saying one playthrough will take about 6 hours to kind of do everything. It's like 18.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that I'll put it this way. I have 14, I think, Steam achievements for this thing. There are 97. There are 97 Steam achievements for this thing, and almost all the Steam achievements are depending on which path you took to get to certain people and then take them to the end. It's fucking insane how deep this thing goes.
I noticed that. I'm looking forward to it. I got it on my Steam Deck, so I'm sure it'll be a nice thing to play just before bed.
Yeah. Yep.
And then slightly separate from this is more of a question for you. As another game that I got code for about a week ago, but I was like, I have a lot I'm playing right now, so it's been waiting. I have this on Switch. Demon World. Have you been following this?
Demon World. I don't. It has
another like pretty striking art style. It's been in early access for quite a while. It just hit 1.0 and came out.
Oh, I have seen this. No, I haven't been following it though.
Okay, it's another horror visual novel that was kind of making some waves. I've seen it at multiple PAXs. Like I said, I've been aware of this thing for probably a year and a half almost.
Are you're gonna try that out too?
Yeah, I got a code for that as well. So
cool. I would be interested in what you think of Slay the Princess. The also kind of interesting thing is that I don't think any two people's playthroughs will ever be the same just because of how many different variants you could. Well, the first playthrough will probably all be the same because you'll probably do the like ending that like the 5-minute ending where you do just what the narrator says to see that, and then you kind of break away from that probably.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's crazy. That's so good.
Okay, cool.
On the opposite side of things, on stuff that is really fucking bad and has made me depressed all week, Silent Hill Ascension is out. So, do you know anything about what this is?
I know they announced like 4 different Silent Hill things a while back. Is this the one that who's the Blue something?
No, it isn't that.
Who did the Medium?
No, it isn't that. That's the remake, Bloober Team.
Bloober Team.
That's
not this one?
So what this is a nightly story that gets streamed on, I guess, their Twitch page or something. It happens at 7 p.m. my time, so I'm never home for it. But you get a little bit of this interactive story, and people can vote on what happens next in the story and have cameos in it with their little shitty avatar. This is a web-based browser, let's call it like interactive cutscene that they stream bits of every night.
Okay, so you're just watching like the VOD?
I'm watching the VOD to like catch up, but the choices you can make, live. You can do at any point or whatever, and like within a certain amount of time before it gets to that story beat or whatever.
I'm picturing like Supermassive, like one of their games where you can like play with your audience, where they get to vote on which option you do.
Think more like a Twitter poll. That every like 3 days after a Twitter poll is done, maybe like a shittily animated, shittily voice acted and written cutscene will like play that part out. It's more like that.
They just managed to get the Silent Hill,
I guess so,
license.
So it's annoying because this is apparently all going to be canon, so whatever happens in this is going to happen in the Silent Hill universe. But it doesn't even matter because like nothing that happens here besides the name Silent Hill Ascension is Silent Hill in any way. It's just like a generic monster like cult movie or something going on. So that none of that matters. What does matter is that when you sign in so that you can be part of this experience and make decisions and stuff, you see that you can only vote on decisions if you have influence points, IP, which you can get by doing daily challenges, including shitty mini games that will get you some, or you can spend a lot of money and buy influence points to influence the decisions and maybe get a cameo in this show or whatever.
These games are just like browser based, like a Flash game on their website.
Yeah, but let's say like old internet Flash games. They're very basic and very shitty.
Yeah. Okay.
And the first thing that happens after you like make your avatar and sign up is that it inundates you with a giant screen that says you should buy the season pass right now to get some emotes and stuff that you can do and like put in the live chat.
Pass. What do you get for the season pass? You get emotes, you get, I'm assuming, IP.
Yeah, you get avatar like skin stuff, not skin, but you know, like hair, glasses, hats or shit like that. It's just the worst of video games. Honestly, in a browser, like bad video.
And you said there's cameos. So what is that? How does that work?
So this last one, well, not today's because we're doing this and I haven't watched today's yet, but yesterday's, there was a scene where a dude is being questioned about the death of his wife that happened in the night before or whatever by the detectives. Okay. And those detectives were played by username and other username. I can't remember what they are right now.
Okay.
And what that means is nothing. Yeah, that like it doesn't make a difference.
You could get your username in this, so it's like,
and your avatar.
Hello, I'm. And where does the avatar show up? Is that like their face?
No, I'm guessing these avatars, the reason why there's so little options or like customizability is because they are fully animated so that at like a moment's notice they can just replace whatever asset in a scene to like somebody else's avatar or whatever.
What are the avatars like? Are they like goofy things?
No,
or
they're
is it
just people.
Like you can
they're
be a
just
white
shitty
dude?
people. You could be a white dude, you could be a black dude, you could be a Mexican lady, I guess. Like, I don't know, just people that exist.
Okay. Okay, so it's not like, hey, here's Detective Blaze 420, and he's a pink bear.
No, it is like, here's
out.
Detective Blaze 420, but he's just like a dude with like a crew cut.
Like, it's like, oh, hello, is that your Christian name? And yes.
Yeah. Like, I can't stop watching it because I didn't like the tester either. I watched every single episode of that thing.
Hey, sometimes you watch bad things. Like,
I need to see it. Also, these episodes are like split into 3 kind of mini stories that happen every night between, I'm guessing, 3 different characters. Like, I wonder if it's going to keep that format. And each video is 2 minutes long. Like, it's not a huge time investment or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, here's the rub, right? I kind of like the idea of an event thing like this. I just hate the monetization, and I hate that it's a property that I love. Like, I'm watching it die.
Well, then let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're not paying anything for this. What
Not
monetization would you like?
Oh, I don't want any. Like, okay, what was the monetization for? Even if there was, what was that game show where you every night at like on your phone you
1 versus 100? Oh, HQ?
Yeah. Did they have a monetization? I don't remember. I think you could buy like an extra turn if you fuck up the question or something. Wasn't that something you could do?
I want to say they had like ads. Probably.
Yeah, maybe they did. I would rather this with ads. I don't know. I would kind of just
like 2-minute long video. You want at the 1 minute mark a 15-second unskippable ad shows up?
I'm fine with that. Totally. Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Or just, I don't know. There's something about the monetization that just feels gross because you're paying like $25 or something for actually nothing because this thing isn't going to exist when it's done.
Hey, I don't mean to like burst your bubble, but that's video games.
No, I know, but that's also why I don't buy the season pass in any game that has. I don't mind I haven't bought the season pass in Diablo 4 yet because I have the free one that comes with the collector edition that I haven't activated. I wouldn't mind buying a season pass in there because you get kind of like a bunch of stuff from that season and that game's going to continue. When this thing is done airing in 6 months or whatever, this thing isn't going to exist ever again. So it feels weird to me that like a year from now, I couldn't load up Ascension.com and see my character that I paid money for. That's kind of the thing.
I don't know. I mean, I still think like you could say that for any game. Like, for example, say I didn't, but say I put some money into Halo Infinite. I'm not playing Halo Infinite anymore.
But you could, is the thing, until they take it down.
I'm not.
Which is like the Destiny problem.
And they definitely could take it down.
Yeah.
They absolutely could take that down. So I could understand someone being like, hey, I'm playing it right now. I want to have the best time right now. And season passes are like that other thing. Like, you buy a season pass. That season pass only lasts for 3 months.
Yeah.
I can never go back and get the stuff from season 3 of Apex. That is gone. Those $10 are gone.
Yeah.
But when I was playing it, it was like, hey, this was enhancing my time to play it. So.
But then you have the stuff from that season pass at least, and then you could be like, see, I was here in season 3. I'm dope that way. Yeah. So at least
maybe you could do that. Like maybe they're going to get to keep these skins. If this is successful, why would they not do another one of these?
I don't think this is going to be. Well, it's hard because you know how we always talk about this, and I think I'm usually the one that brings it up, that we're in a bubble. So like when we talk about video games, we're talking about like people that we know that are into video games or talk about video games. My Silent Hill bubble says that everybody that likes Silent Hill is furious, and this is going to die instantly because everybody's already
still watching it. You're watching it every night.
No, they're not. But I think there are enough people, especially apparently in Brazil, for what the online chat in that thing.
Huge Brazil Okay.
Brazil loves Silent Hill Ascension. Brazil loves just saying that they're from Brazil in chat rooms. So,
as someone who's also not from the United States of America, sometimes you want a little bit of like, hey, I exist.
sure, yeah, some
And
representation
I would assume
out
Brazil's even like lower than Canada. Canada's at least next door, so we get some pity.
Yeah. One thing I did find out that I found funny. Well, maybe funny isn't the right term, especially when I tell you what it is. In that chat room, if you use the words Hideo Kojima or scam, you will be moderated. If you use the N word, you're fine.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something I learned today, and I laughed. I was like, of course.
That is weird.
Yeah, amazing.
Very weird.
I'm not going to update every week about Silent Hill Ascension on here, but if you want to know, you can follow me on Twitter, and I'm sure I'll say something about something bad when something bad happens or whatever. Yeah.
Get your daily update. Okay, cool. Well, with that, let's do some news. Some interesting stuff happened this week. Here's a small one. A Lies of P sequel was announced.
Right.
And at the same time, the game director teased some DLC. The tease is like, here's a art screenshot. Shows, P on a shipwreck. So I guess there's some kind of shipwreck or pirate something happening. But I think the bigger news is that it did well enough that they were able to greenlight a sequel. I think that's pretty great because that game is a pretty great Souls-like.
Did you finish it?
I haven't finished it yet. And I was right last time you asked how far I was, and I was like, it's hard to tell if the guide is finished or not. The guide was not finished, so I think I am like halfway through. It's like a 40-hour game.
Yeah, no, it's a full game. I have assumptions about what happens at the end because I've heard a few people say that if they ended it in a way that they could just do this game like a million times with different things. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, I know there's multiple endings, and I also understand that a bunch of stuff kind of unlocks after the first one when you do New Game Plus. Like, there's definitely reasons to go back. I'm not that person, but I do plan to finish it.
Sure, yeah.
All right, on sadder news, we were just talking about videogamelayoffs.com last week.
Yeah.
Or GameIndustryLayoffs.com, whatever that site was. Bungie this week got hit with layoffs. It was approximately 8% of their staff, which equals 100 people. I didn't realize Bungie was that big.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, actually.
That is big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
8%. Okay.
8%. So this came along with some news that their next expansion, which is called The Final Shape, that's getting delayed until summer of next year, which I believe is a few months long delay. And then Marathon, that kind of reboot of the shooter that they were working on that was announced, that's getting pushed into 2025.
That's
along with this. Here's the tweet from Jason Schreier. 2 weeks ago, staff were told they were projected to miss revenue targets by 45%. So it sounds like most recent Destiny expansion was not doing very well for them, and they had quite a dip in revenue. So they lost about 100 people.
Right.
Add it to the list.
Sucks. Feels bad.
Absolutely. And then on the other side of it, kind of a surprise out of nowhere, Atari purchased Digital Eclipse.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with Digital Eclipse, they do a lot of kind of like retro remakes. Most recently, they did the making of Karateka. Before that, they did Atari 50.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, if you're kind of doing some kind of like revitalization for games, Digital Eclipse is like the company.
Yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize Atari was in a position to buy out other companies, though. That's kind of the surprise for me.
Well, they've actually been doing a bunch of buying. They bought another similar studio recently. What was it called again? This article mentions it. I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about this, but they've actually been buying a few different companies recently. They really seem like they're on a bit of a turnaround of kind of revitalizing Atari, as opposed to just being speaker hats, hotels, and the shirt that you buy at Target because you're Gen Z.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not seeing the other one right now. As part of their purchase, they put up a fact about why this is, and kind of one of the main questions is are they going to be are they just going to be making Atari, like working on Atari properties? And the answer is no. They still want Digital Eclipse going out and doing properties they don't own. They're still working on their remaster of Wizardry that has already been announced. So it's like a good look for Atari, and part of this is their current CEO, whose name is Andrew Eyre. He seems to kind of get it. He seems to be kind of the right person at the top of Atari right now in their kind of turnaround thing.
I mean, yeah, that's great.
Night Dive Studios they purchased earlier. Which Night Dive also does a lot of kind of remasters and such.
True. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So this is, it's not the first thing, but it's a seems like a good fit, and I think it's just a cool move for Atari. I hope this provides some stability for Digital Eclipse, because I think they're doing like some cool and important work that I would hate to see go away, because I don't hear like normies talking about the Atari 50 collection.
Right.
I don't know anyone who has ever said Karateka to me that isn't on a video game podcast. So I could see them like scrambling to get by, and I hope this lets them keep going for longer.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Good news.
I've kind of just put this because I thought John would have something to say about it. We got the last course pack for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming.
Okay.
I didn't watch this trailer.
All right, let's see what we got. We got Rainbow Road from Wii. Mario Kart Wii is coming.
Okay.
We got Madrid Drive. Hey, just in time for your trip to Spain.
Oh, good. Perfect. Yeah, awesome.
From Tour.
So I'll do this to get ready.
Yeah, from Mario Kart Tour. From the GameCube game from Double Dash, we have DK Mountain.
Okay.
Piranha Plant Cove from Tour.
The Wii. Then Piranha. Yeah, you missed the Wii
Daisy
version,
Circuit.
Daisy Circuit, and
You're
then
right.
Piranha Plant Cove, which I have to assume is it's from Tour. Okay, yeah. So
and Tour Rome. Holy shit! This was made for you.
Wow, look at that! Thanks, Nintendo.
Yay! 3DS is
courses.
Rosalina's Ice World as well, apparently.
I think there's some characters. I don't know. But I think this means we're finally free from Mario Kart 8.
The characters are...
The last one.
I have it right here. Birdo, Petey Piranha, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Wiggler, Kamek, Peachette, and Pauline.
Cool.
Yeah.
And in the chat, also a music player is being added with the update.
Sick.
Okay. Xbox is banning unauthorized controllers and accessories.
Yeah, this is no good for the fighting game community, at which this thing says, actually.
Yeah. There's been kind of a few things pointed out, so it sounds like any kind of third parties that aren't like directly working with Xbox are going to be getting blocked. You'll get a little error message that says this connected controller is not authorized. Then you have 2 weeks before it gets like just locked out of being usable. So a lot of fight sticks are going to be kind of getting not bricked, but just not working with an Xbox. There was an update because a lot of people were like, well, what about the like accessibility controller? Because that thing is kind of designed to plug just random stuff into it that you might need. The update, I'll just read here. A spokesperson for Microsoft confirmed the ban will go into effect and has said it's for performance, security, and safety. Microsoft and other licensed Xbox hardware partners' accessories are designed and manufactured with quality standards for performance, security, and safety. Unauthorized accessories can compromise the gaming experience on Xbox consoles. Player may receive a pop-up warning that their accessory is unauthorized. Eventually, the unauthorized accessory will be blocked. I thought this was going to get into the accessibility. Anyways, the part is anything plugged into an accessibility controller is going to be okay.
Interesting. Okay.
It does not help the fighting stick. It does not help third-party controllers that you probably don't want to use anyways, unless you're the younger sibling and that's the one you have to play it with. I think in part of this, they also announced that they're going to be opening up wireless third-party controller manufacturers. So I guess until this point, third parties have not been allowed to make wireless controllers or accessories for the Xbox. They all have to be wired. And that's changing, although I'm not 100% sure on that one. But it is bummer. It seems very anti-player when that seems to be kind of the opposite vibe that Xbox is going for lately.
Yeah, I hope they reach out to more like manufacturers of like the converters and stuff and maybe start new partnerships with a bunch of them to maybe even some of that stuff out. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get to an okay spot, but it is a bummer if you're someone who does own these.
Yeah.
And last one, we were talking about Max Payne earlier. We got a little bit of an update on the Max Payne remake project that is happening. It's basically now fully in production as opposed to just being greenlit.
Makes sense.
We have gained clarity on the style and scope of the game, and we have an exceptionally well-organized team working on it with these accomplishments. We are excited about the project and its future success. I'm very curious about this remake because Rockstar owns the publishing rights to it. Like Remedy did not work on Max Payne 3. That's a Rockstar title.
Right.
It was developed at Rockstar. This is just a remake of 1 and 2. So I'm curious if Rockstar is involved at all. And I'm also curious if they're going to tie this into the Remedy verse.
Oh, surely they'll do something, but who knows what.
Because it almost seems like they're kind of retconning Max Payne into turning him into Alex Casey in at least Alan Wake 2.
Right. I mean, maybe Max Payne is the real world inspiration for Alex Casey, who's part of Alan Wake's story.
I don't know. Well, because Alex Casey is just a character from Alan Wake's book.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're thinking but that would imply that in the real world there's demons?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. The fun thing is that they could write anything and like make it make sense with the setups they have for stuff.
They could. I get the feeling that Remedy would want to include Max Payne into the Remedy verse, despite it being before the Remedy verse. This seems like the opportunity to do that. So I'm very curious to see how they would do that, how they'll tie things in. It seems like the way they'll do it. It would be a bummer if they didn't.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. That's the question.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some questions. topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. We will once again push episode titles to next week. Hopefully, John will be back.
Yeah.
Sukusuku wrote, you wake up one morning and make a bowl of Kellogg's Overwatch Lucio-O's cereal, as you always do, and you turn on the TV to watch some morning cartoons. However, something else catches your eye. They are advertising esports to be in the next Olympics. There will be medals, ugly nationalism, corruption, and everything else that comes with the territory. What games would realistically be in the roster? What would you personally want in? Esports in the Olympics. I'm assuming like Counter-Strike and League.
Oh, sure. Like games that are already big esports in their own right.
I'm answering the first question. What do you think realistically would make it?
I
think Counter-Strike and League. I could have seen Overwatch if they didn't like close that down.
Yeah. Valorant's probably not there yet. Counter-Strike definitely is the shooter you have there.
You think like it almost seems like, well, because when I think of esports, I think of like fighting games and then some shooters. Do you think they do a fighting game in the Olympics? Like, Street Fighter 6?
I could see that. You think Street Fighter? Yeah, maybe, right? It's the biggest one.
Well, that's always
probably.
like the big one at the like the finals in EVA, right?
Yeah.
You think they do a racing game?
Yeah, they probably do a Forza or Gran Turismo or something. I could see that.
I feel like Gran Turismo just kind of makes more sense.
It has that movie backing, so yeah.
It has the movie as well.
Yeah.
What I personally want in, I always like that the Catherine thing is still happening. That's fun.
Sure. What would I personally want in? Man.
I love watching Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. And it's ones that I'm more familiar with, I could at least follow. So if they did like Smash Bros, I could follow that.
A Just Dance or something would be kind of fun. Like the best dancer in every country or whatever competing.
Okay. Along the same line, DDR would be cool.
Yeah, exactly, right? Wii Sports. Yeah.
Wii Sport, yeah, just like Wii Bowling or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, realistically, one of the first games would probably be like Digital Chess or something. Just like,
oh yeah, probably. Yeah. I would, you know, what would be great if they did like a Jackbox one. Like, I would like to see what, because now it comes down to like humor and stuff, and it's like, okay, which country is the funniest at TKO?
Yeah. It's actually Nigeria. You would have never guessed it, but they're hilarious.
Yeah. And then it's and because they're not gonna like swear, which is like what everyone just does in real life to make a joke. So it's like, who's actually funny without just saying fuck?
Yeah, true. Rousterman7 writes, I was just shared this image and I don't think it was asked before with these options. So this is a pick 2. We have to pick 2 from this list of 8 things. Going from 1 to 8. 1, $10,000 cash immediately. 2, free rent or mortgage for 6 months starting next year. 3, perfect credit score. 4, unlimited airline tickets for life. 5, a brand new home, but you can never sell it and never move. 6, free groceries for 5 years. 7, a brand new luxury car. You can never sell it and never own any other car. And 8, unlimited free medical care for life. I know my 2.
This is so easy.
Yeah. Okay, what's yours?
This is so easy. It's unlimited airline tickets for life and unlimited free medical care for life.
Okay. For me, it's $10,000 cash and free groceries because I have healthcare and I don't like traveling.
Yeah, I guess being in Canada, you do have it. Yeah, no, I think you gotta go to the healthcare. I'm almost thinking though, like, yeah, no, living in Canada is pretty great. You get the free medical healthcare. You have to pay for your dental though. Does this count? Does that cover it, or is that separate? Then that might be worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. That, I guess if it's a medical emergency, it would count, but if it's like veneers or something like aesthetic, then probably not.
All right. Some of these, like,
free groceries for 5 years is more than $10,000 cash, I think, because groceries are fucking crazy expensive now.
Yeah, and you could also just like start buying more and stuff. Like, you never.
Yeah, true.
That one is nice. The fact that I'm going for ones that are unlimited because I'm gonna like outdo these. Like the house, you can never move. No, thank you.
That sucks.
I don't want to get locked.
Terrible.
That sucks. Same with the car. You can never upgrade it. That eventually that car is going to be old.
Also, fuck luxury car. Who gives a shit? I'm not a car guy. I don't give a shit about that.
Perfect credit score. I don't need it. Luckily, I have fine credit score. The free rent for 6 months
is bullshit. Garbage.
I'm trying to think if that would be less or more than 10,000 cash immediately. That would be.
Depends where you live.
It would be. Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of where I live, so it would be more than 10,000 cash. But it's still like so short. The unlimited, I think it'll just pay for itself in the long run. The unlimited stuff.
The unlimited stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about the healthcare. If I cared at all about travel, like I actively don't like to travel, so 4 doesn't make any sense for me. If I liked it at all, it's definitely the way to go, though. Because, yeah, why wouldn't you? Honestly, the only reason I picked $10,000 cash immediately is because I didn't really care about anything else other than the free groceries. Free groceries is huge.
The groceries is like the third choice one. Like if I didn't live in Canada where I got, if I lived in Canada where I got the free medical care, I'd probably take the groceries because I do think groceries would outdo 10,000 cash immediately for sure.
If you live in the States, unlimited free medical care is obviously the choice, and you're dumb if you don't take that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Dead writes, let's see, an old Reddit post.
Okay.
Which is linking to a new Kotaku article titled 2023 is the best year for games in a while and maybe ever. And the question here is, each of you can add 2 games you think are missing from each year. You could only play the games from either 2017 or 2023. Which would you pick?
He's linking to the comment in that Reddit, not the...
Oh.
Yeah, so look at that comment that's highlighted. This makes more sense now. Yes, okay.
Question is 2017 or 2023 better?
This is hard looking at it already.
And they even have a lot of them kind of lined up to be like, here's kind of a close comparison.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of go through some of these. They have Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, Mario Wonder, Divinity Original Sin 2, Baldur's Gate, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man 2, Forza Motorsport 7, Forza Motorsport, Prey, Starfield. These are starting to get a little odd. Origins, Mirage, for Assassin's Creed, Neo, Lies of P.
Sure. Yeah.
Nier Automata, Final Fantasy 16. That's a fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Octopath Traveler 2. I've heard such great things about Octopath Traveler 2. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4 Remake, The Evil Within 2, Alan Wake 2, Hellblade, Dead Space Remake, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 1, For Honor, and Street Fighter 6. That's I think the fact that For Honor is on this list is
crazy.
Congrats to For Honor.
Yeah, there's no universe that should be on here, but okay.
They even go, and I think going down, some of these games are getting like not worth mentioning. The indies, you're looking at things like Hollow Knight, Pyre. I love Pyre. Cuphead. I feel like the indies are maybe a little weaker on the 2023 side. Dave the Diver, Pizza Tower, Cocoon.
Oh,
I love Dredge.
So we're in agreement then. 2023 blows 2017 out of the fucking water when it comes to the top AAA stuff, like easily, in my opinion.
Okay, let me look at this.
There's also more of them, which is a little unfair. Not that much more, but there is more.
I don't know if I agree with saying it. There's more of them. I mean, this list they have 2 more of them, but again, they have like stuff like For Honor on here, which I would never have mentioned.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart is on here. I would not have mentioned that either.
Yeah, I guess just as like the counterpoint to Wolfenstein 2, which sure, okay. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Armored Core 6 is the counterpart to Gravity Rush 2. Like, they're just like, they don't even know what they're talking about here.
And arguably, it says Destiny 2 for 2017. A new Destiny 2 release came out this year. It's just that people didn't like it. So, like, Destiny 2 could be on both of these since they released shit in both years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard because there is little stuff on 2017 that I really like.
Yeah.
Like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, I probably like more than Tears of the Kingdom and Mario Wonder.
I definitely like Odyssey more than Tears of the Kingdom and Wonder. Odyssey's so good. Holy shit, that's such a good game. Nier Automata is one of my favorite games of all time.
I liked Assassin's Creed Origins is probably my most recent favorite Assassin's Creed. I haven't played Mirage yet, but Origins is like the good one of that trilogy.
Like for me in the 2017 that they list here, you know what? I'll throw this in the chat too, so like people that are watching live can check it out. For me, Mario Odyssey and Nier and Resident Evil 7 are kind of the only ones that are like hands down better than like a lot of the stuff on 2023. Otherwise, 2023 has so many things here that I love.
I really like Spider-Man 2 a whole bunch. Baldur's Gate 3 is extremely good.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying Lies of P. Final Fantasy 16 was a fun time. Alan Wake 2 is like really special and cool.
Yep.
Hi-Fi Rush is cool. I really liked Jedi Survivor. I'm Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty here is like really great, and I can't wait to start that. I mean, I should have talked about that. I have started Remnant 2, but I guess I'll just talk about that next week at this point.
Yeah. But then
this is hard.
But then when it gets to the notable indies, for me, 2017 kills it. Like, this list is
2017
insane.
Does kill it, yes.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's really difficult.
I'm kind of surprised What Remains of Edith Finch is on there. I really like that game. Oh man, Night in the Woods. Oh, so good.
Yeah. These things. So I didn't play Dave the Diver yet. Apparently, that's like one of the best games of the year for a lot of people.
Yeah, I need to play
do
that as well. Yeah.
But like Pizza Tower, it's fun. I got to get to Cocoon. Dredge was really good. System Shock.
The thing is, some of these
good.
indies I love. I love Dead Cells. I love Pyre.
Hollow Knight's one of my favorite games of all time. Like, yeah, they have really solid things on there.
I think I might give it to 2017.
Just for the indies? Yeah.
Well, just like the highs are just so high. Like, I really love Mario Odyssey and I really love Breath of the Wild. Nier Automata is really great too. Like, the highs are just like really high. So
I'm gonna sniff some copium right now. 2023 is not over, and Silk Song is supposed to still be coming out at some time.
There's absolutely no way that happens. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's a scenario here for me. It's like the highs are higher, but like the overall, like the average on 2023 is higher.
So the question is, if you could only play the games from either 2017 or 2023, I easily pick 2023.
I think I picked 2017.
Cool.
I just don't think I could give up some of these games.
And then apparently we can add 2 games we think are missing from each year. Like, I can't think of any currently right now.
Yeah, but I'm not going to like try and scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. BGC Kenny writes, what are some necessary annoyances in video games? For instance, coming back to a game or series not having played it, relearning how to play can be an annoyance, but necessary because that's how games work most of the time. Probably tutorials. Like, I know how to play Gears of War 5 because I've played all of them, but like, I'm not the only person in the world, so I get that you're gonna have to teach me how to play for the first hour or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, and I'm never not going to accept a tutorial because there might be one thing new that I need to know about.
Yeah.
That is going to be included in there.
Yeah.
This specific example that they give, the coming back to it, I wish games would address that. It's like, hey, we're going to pop the tutorials for, we've seen you haven't played this in 8 months, you probably don't remember it, or, you know, new DLC, here's some tutorial again.
Isn't there a game or two that does that? And like we've called out before, where it's like, it's really nice because it's just like, hey, just as a reminder, this is how you like play this again. I can't remember what it would have been though.
I can't think of one, but maybe I would hope there's at least one.
Yeah. Necessary annoyances. Do you think it's a necessary annoyance to have played a game before another game to understand what's going on? Is it annoying that like I should know a little bit of Alan Wake before going into? Is that a necessary annoyance? Or like, should there be like a recap in every game or something?
I think there should be a recap. I feel like most games do have a recap. I'm actually surprised Alan Wake doesn't.
Yeah.
Considering how many things it's pulling from and how long ago Alan Wake 1 was, like 13 years, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't. Most games, I feel like they do. Like Spider-Man had that.
Yeah, it did. You're right. And it was kind of well done, too, actually. It felt pretty natural. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's not a necessary annoyance. That's just an annoyance. You should give us the option.
Good one in the chat. Necessary annoyances, deaths. It's like, yeah, I guess it like slows it. It does slow progression and stop the player. But like, if you didn't have that, it wouldn't feel like there's any stakes. So you need it's literally a necessary annoyance.
It's kind of the only like stake that's left in a lot of games, because a lot of games don't even bother with lives or stuff anymore, right? Like, yeah, you game over, but what does that mean? Oh, you go back 2 checkpoints rather than like your current autosave or something. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, they need to raise the stakes somehow, or else people just won't care.
Yeah.
All right, last question from Random Aegis. Overall, do you prefer crispy or grilled chicken sandwiches?
Grilled, 100%.
I think I'm typically gonna get a grilled, just from like the health standpoint. Because it's asking, do you prefer an unhealthy chicken sandwich or a healthy chicken sandwich? But I do love every now and then a spicy grilled chicken sandwich. A spicy crispy chicken sandwich. Like you got the skin on there, you know this is not going to be good for you. That I love those sandwiches too, but most of the time I'm going to pick a grilled.
I think if I'm going to have something with like a crust on it, I kind of just want it to be a nugget or like something like I don't know. I like the grilled between bread or whatever. There's something about it that just tastes better to me or something, feels better. It's probably more of a texture thing, honestly.
There's a really good crispy chicken sandwich shop down the street from me. I try not to go there very often because I'm sure it is the most unhealthy thing in the world, but it is extremely tasty. Yep.
Cool.
All right, that's going to do it for questions this week. If you want to send in questions for next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week?
I'll say Slay the Princess.
Wow, I was expecting Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is mine.
Probably next week. I need to get more into it. Yeah.
All right. See you guys next week. Hopefully John is feeling better. Bye.
Bye-bye.